A late equaliser at Coventry for Leeds United, and relief boiled over into a friendly pitch invasion. Few would be sad to see the back of a season in which United started as champions, finished as relegation escapees, and an away draw was cause for celebration. Howard Wilkinson made no secret of his wish to see big changes in the close season.
I'd like to make Leeds United a winning team again, and if that means changes, then changes there'll be. Hopefully, maybe some of the kids will come pushing through, and hopefully we'll bring in extra players, quality players, and inevitably, as is football, that may mean some people going out.
Mel Sterland, with long-term injury problems, would hang up his boots without returning to first-team football. Lee Chapman, a great servant over the years as Leeds' leading marksman, went first to Portsmouth and then made a rapid return to the Premier League with West Ham. Chris White dropped a division to Birmingham City, as did Carl Shutt. And long-serving goalkeeper Mervyn Day became coach at Carlisle United. Some of the new faces were already in place. Mark Beanie had made his debut in goal at Coventry. Gary Kelly, who played against Nottingham Forest in the 1991-2 season, just 18 and a veteran by comparison. This year he would be ever present. And Wilkinson didn't have far to look for other top-class talent. Jamie Forrester, Noel Whelan, Mark Tinkler and Kevin Sharp, Kelly's colleagues in the cup-winning youth team, would all figure in the manager's plans. To strengthen the much-criticised central defence, in came David O'Leary, bringing a wealth of experience from Arsenal, where he was out of contract. But it was clear a top-class striker was needed to replace the prolific Chapman. And for that, Wilco turned to the transfer market and to Sheffield United. But why Brian Deane?
At Sheffield United, particularly in the Premier League, he'd not had the best of service and support, and that's no disrespect to them. I just mean that they had spent most of their working life in the Premier League, struggling to survive. He had bore the attacking brunt for that team, had scored a lot of goals for them, and had added a lot outside of scoring goals, and I thought that he would come here, having watched him a lot, I thought he'd come here and do even better, make an even bigger contribution for himself and for the team than he had done at Sheffield United.
The stage then was set for Sergeant Wilco's army, and first field of battle would be Main Road, turf on which Leeds had conceded 8 goals in the last 2 seasons and won nothing. By those standards, a 1-1 draw to open the campaign was a flying start.
Throwing Leeds in towards Strachan. Strachan could be in here. Strachan, super save, and Dean couldn't get there. The header by speed. Oh, it's just over. McAllister, left foot cross. Dean in there again. Could drop here. Yes, great save. Driven in fiercely there by Gary Speed with his right foot. Dorigo in from the left. Lovely ball back by Dean. Dorigo onto his left foot. So close. Kelly for Leeds. Chance here perhaps. Shot on the turn, just wide. Strachan, he's completely tireless, and there's Whelan again. And Coton with more than a modicum of good fortune. Needs support. He's got it on the right from Wallace. Here he is, Wallace. Wallace to his left foot. Drove in the shot, and Coton again performs absolute heroics, and Dean cannot believe it. McAllister in again, there's a chance. It could come back for speed, off the bar. Goodness me. Leeds could have been 5 up by this stage. Holden now for Manchester City. Oh, and there's a chance here for Sheeran, saved. Rebound, yes. Flitcroft has scored for Manchester City. It's a real test of this Leeds United team's character now. Completely dominated proceedings, had chance after chance after chance. Couldn't take them, and suddenly it's a topsy-turvy game. They find themselves a goal behind. Coton, perhaps a chance for Dean, yes! And that's the equaliser. Brian Dean on his debut, but no, it's not given. The referee blows up for a free kick to Manchester City. We're in injury time at Main Road. City lead 1-0. And it goes there. Dean, yes! At time it does count. Left-footed. And he looks round to the referee. And he's got the goal that Leeds were desperately praying for. And they've got it.
Dean's last-minute equaliser kept up his tradition of scoring on the first day of the season and ensured him the status of instant hero when the Hammers came to Ellen Road 3 days later. But this time, it was Gary Speed's name on the score sheet.
Dean steps inside one man. Dean with goal at his mercy has found his marker, yes! And in the end, it's been driven home. And Leeds are ahead, and it's Gary Speed.
The next game provided the shock of the season, a 4-0 drubbing at home to Norwich.
In it goes, Dorigo, oh, it's Mark Robbins, good save, Fox, goal for Norwich, Rule Fox. Danger again here, it's Rule Fox, and this is Sutton. Robbins coming near post now, 2 further back, can he pick out Jeremy Goss? Oh, that's a fantastic goal by Norwich City. Oh, look at that, it's Fox, from a mistake by Lukic, it's going to be 4 surely.
Worse still, a serious injury to David O'Leary. Did this mean a rethink in the boss's strategy?
Well, to a degree it did, because one of the reasons I brought David here was to give give the younger players the benefit of his experience, particularly the young defenders, and particularly the young central defenders, Newsom and David Weatherall. And I think, despite his injury, we've seen some of the benefits of that. I think had he not got injured, we'd have seen even more benefits from it. But I think we have seen benefits. I think, for instance, he's helped young David Weatherall a lot, and he's a player who, I think, from the start of the season, has changed dramatically. He now looks like a footballer.
So there was to be no happy return to Highbury for O'Leary, and the trip wasn't much fun for the rest of the lads either. The reshaped side losing 2-1.
Dreadful own goal by Newsom. That's so bad luck. Merson sprints through the middle. That's a missed header, and Merson scores for Arsenal. 2-0. Brian Dean on the chest. Good little fend off for Strachan. Takes it to the left and tries one. Super goal, Gordon Strachan. And Leeds fight back.
Liverpool completed a dismal first fortnight. The 2-0 defeat at Anfield left Leeds 18th in the table, and apprehension rife that the new season was just an unwelcome continuation of the old. In fact, this was to be the turning point. After conceding 8 goals in 3 games, John Lukic forfeited his place between the sticks to his young colleague.
I don't think you can lay the blame at one person. I think people make mistakes. Sometimes as a result of those mistakes you lose games. Those mistakes contribute to you losing games. He'd played the whole of the season before, we'd had a summer off, and I thought he started the season in similar vein to that which he'd finished the last. So I didn't think he was performing as well as he could. I thought that was having an effect on other people, and I decided that the best solution was to have a change. A, to give him a chance to sit back and take stock. B, if it was necessary, to shake him up, you know, and C, to give the young boy who'd worked very, very hard since he arrived a chance in the Premier League.
Beanie was able to keep a clean sheet against Eldham Athletic, while Gordon Strachan chipped in with a goal to give United their second victory of the season.
And Strachan in some space here, chance for Leeds United, and a goal! Leeds United lead, and Gordon Strachan answers his critics with a goal.
Well, he wanted more direct football, and the goal is an ideal result from it. Exactly what we talked about, you and I, before the game. Look for Dean to be the focal point of the long ball. He got the flick, Wallace got the flick, Speed was backing up, and look at the finish from little Gordon Strachan. Gerrard gets a hand on it, I think you'll see from here. Gerrard gets a hand on it, the angle's not great, but a wee man takes his sights. And look at that nestling in lovely, right in the stanchion.
Here's Strachan again, it's his second goal of the season. He scored at Arsenal. Yeah, you're right, Gerrard got his hand to it, couldn't get it away. Leeds have certainly been buoyed up by that goal, and Rod Wallace here has some space because Redmond slipped over. Dean's come to the near post, and that's so nearly a goal. Nearly his first at Ellen Road for Brian Dean. Batty through the middle. Here's Wallace, who's been a bit of a live wire tonight. Drops for Batty! And away in the end by Redmond. Rod Wallace. He's still got it as well. Great run from Wallace and almost a goal to cap it.
It was still 17 months since Leeds had won away, almost a club record. The previous worst run ended at the Dell, and on the 11th of September, history repeated itself.
Dean's there, yes, Leeds score. Brian Dean on the score sheet for Leeds United. Strachan chases that one away by Francis Benali. Strachan could be in there again though on the right hand side. He's managed to win it back, Gordon Strachan, and he feeds Gary Speed. 2-0 Leeds.
Three more victories followed.
Strachan down the line. Nicely nodded down by Wallace. McAllister on a burst. McAllister onto his right foot. He tries his shot here. Yes! That's outstanding finishing. Gary McAllister gets Leeds off to the best possible start. And in the big Yorkshire derby, the Ellen Road club are a goal up at home after some 5 minutes. And that was absolutely brilliant. Dean went on a fainting run. McAllister, the captain, carried it all the way to the edge of the box, skipped round Kamara, and there's a rocket finish. And the skipper's done it again. Strachan on the right-hand side again. He's got space to cross. It's a cross to the far post. There's the flying header, just over. Gary Speed flinging himself, throwing himself at the ball. Beanie with a right foot kick. Dean heads it beautifully in towards Strachan. Strachan tries a left foot shot. Oh, and it's crept through. And Gordon Strachan can't believe he scored with his left foot. Neither can Gary McAllister. But Leeds can believe they're 2-0 ahead. He can't believe it, can he? Dean, that header was beautiful. Strachan cut inside there onto his left foot, and it was just curling away, and Kelly couldn't get there. And McAllister was elated. Dean beaten in the air by Jonas Virmala, another one of the Scandinavian connection in Sheffield United's lineup. Here's Strachan for Leeds though. Strachan again pulling the strings. Speed, lovely measured cross. Dean couldn't get it in, and it was easy for Alan Kelly Leeds pressing again down Sheffield United. Kelly this time, Gary Kelly, good save, Alan Kelly. And the two namesakes there in the headlines. The Blades here looking to get something. Dane Whitehouse is in there, but Kelly did so well for Leeds. Oh, and that's outstanding play. That really is excellent. Strachan able to find McAllister. Batty rather. Pressing down the right-hand side, David Batty. And that one chipped through, it might find Dean. Dean looks to go for goal, onto his right foot over. Another opportunity for the big man. Bradshaw puts it deep into the box. It's flicked on there, there's danger, and it's gone in. Long throw from the far side, and I think that will go down as an OG. Dorigo throw. Chance for Batty to attack goal here. Batty chips it through instead. Lovely ball, Wallace. Great save, Alan Kelly. Again causing problems. McAllister now out to the right-hand side, and Kelly. Kelly, beautiful run. Left foot shot. Oh, just wide. Another terrific effort by the youngster. There's the full-time whistle. Leeds, better team in the big Yorkshire derby. Local pride is staying in Elland Road. It's Leeds United 2, Sheffield United 1. Dean holds it up for nicely there, Speed interchange with McAllister. McAllister in the midfield. Nice little 1-2 with Speed again, now up wide on the left. Lovely move by Leeds. Dorigo now, Dorigo cross. Oh, there's the header. Superb goal. That's outstanding. And Wallace claims it. And that was a really excellent goal. The build-up, Dorigo really put over a nice cross. Right on the head of Rodney Wallace, who climbed so high, and he buried the header. Chance now on the right-hand side for Leeds. Strachan, first time in. Oh! That was the header by Brian Dean. Reaching low for it. Nodding it over the bar. Dean again. This time perhaps a crossing opportunity. Rides the challenge well. Sneaks in across. There's Wallace. Oh yes. Leeds with a second goal that they richly deserve. And the fans go absolutely wild. Brian Dean, the supplier. Rodney Wallace with his second of the match. Leeds 2-0 ahead. Good cross by Dean, he worked so hard to pull that back. Dropped nicely for Wallace, and the finish, well, he just rifled it in, didn't he? Wallace again, such a lively player. To Dorigo, right foot cross. Dean got a touch to that one, here's McAllister. Speed challenges, Dean shoots wide. It's all Leeds. And Brian Dean must wonder what he's got to do to get a goal. And you can hardly hear the whistle, but that's full time. Another great victory for Leeds. Beautiful performance, 2 from Wallace. Coventry City 0, Leeds United 2. Beanie will clear again for Leeds. Dean with a flick on, an important one, still gets an interception, causing havoc edge of the box. Dean, left foot shot, oh, off the post. Brian Dean. Rod Wallace screaming for the ball there. Dean might flick it on for him. Wallace has got the pace to get round his marker. Leeds on this left-hand side. Wallace, left foot cross to the near post. There's a terrific goal by Gary Speed. Wonderful volley. Instinctive finish with his left foot. And it was only really perhaps a quarter chance, but he snapped it up beautifully well. 1-0 Leeds. Wallace there whipping that cross in, and Speed using the pace of the ball and turning it in from a narrow angle. Great goal. The crowd rising to it. Beanie up the field again. Dean edge of the box. Wallace. Lovely jinking run. Right foot shot. Drops down to McAllister, who tried a second attempt. Strachan's there. Blazing it wide of the post. Gary Kelly now. Throw it. Tosses it deep into the box. Headed away by Wimbledon. Kelly's there again. Onto his right foot. Crossing opportunity. And it comes Dean, holds it up, there's the first time shot, just over the bar. Not a bad effort from David Weatherall. Dorigo stitches him up there down the left-hand side. Back in again, Fashanu nodding it into the edge of the box. And Speed coming away with it for Leeds, finds McAllister. McAllister tearing through the middle of the pitch. McAllister, this is a brilliant run. McAllister to the edge of the box, is brought down, is he? Yes, referee, free kick on the edge of the box, says Joe Worrell. I think perhaps McAllister looking for a penalty there, but yes, contact just on the edge of the penalty box. Still a great opportunity for Leeds here. Dorigo, Strachan, McAllister lining up for this one. Referee making sure the wall's back. McAllister chipping it, yes! What a beauty! Gary McAllister, the skipper, strikes, and that was so delicate for Leeds. Sagers drags it out of the back of the net, but that was quite unstoppable. Lovely touch, just chipping it beautifully over, and that's unstoppable. Kelly down the line finds Wallace. Rod Wallace here. Lovely touch, Kelly's there again. Far post cross, Speed nodding it back in. Oh, and saved by Sagers from Strachan. Wimbledon, opportunities for them opening up here for perhaps the first time in the game. Chance now, oh, is that a penalty? I think he's given it, and it's Vinnie Jones. Fashanu should take it, but he's off as substitute, so the onus rests with the Wimbledon skipper Jones. Once played under Wilkinson, drives it right-footed wide, and the former Leeds player misses from the spots at Elland Road. Oh, and Leeds here just romping away with this performance. Dorigo now left-hand side. Dorigo firing in a first-time shot, and another terrific save. McAllister's onto that one. McAllister, chance here for him. Gary McAllister. Yes, it's his second, Leeds third, and that's richly deserved. 3-0 Leeds, the celebrations now. It's comfortable, isn't it, at 3? But Leeds needed it for assurance. McAllister kept battling onto his favoured right foot, and there's the unstoppable finish. Strachan, right-hand side, looks for the killer pass. He's played it in for Speed. Speed towards the edge of the box, picks up the rebound. He's got Kelly outside him. Back in again. Strachan dummy. Speed shoots. Oh yes! Terrific goal, Gary Speed. Strachan with the dummy. All smiles. And Speed with the sliding left foot finish. Raking goal. 4-0 Leeds. Well, again, Kelly was on the right-hand side attacking, pulling it back nicely. Strachan let it go. Speed didn't. Just look at that. And that's the full-time whistle. An outstanding performance by Leeds, breaking down a very hard-fought Wimbledon outfit. Speed with 2, McAllister with 2. The full-time score, Leeds 4, Wimbledon 0.
The emphatic victory over the Dons took Leeds to 3rd place in the Premiership. but the bubble was soon burst. Sunderland, ever the cup bogey team, put Leeds out of the Coca-Cola. There followed a dismal 0-0 draw at Portman Road against Ipswich. Then came Blackburn and Alan Shearer.
Tony Dorigo. McAllister. Lovely ball for Dean. Held it up well. Dean will try one from here. Off the post. I think Mims got a slight touch. Got hold of it well here, Brian Dean. Hit it very hard and it rattled the woodwork. Dean heading again, showing his great value. There he is in the danger zone. Turns beautifully for a big man, lovely skills, great shot! Good save, Mims. Brian Dean in scorching form. The England winger has pulled over a cross, and there's the header, and Shearer will tap it in. And Blackburn working hard here to try and add to their total. Gallagher put into touch well there by John Newsom. That was threatening. Corner to the far post here. Hendry was lurking. Newell in possession. Ripley now. Along the floor, Shearer's there. Leeds are 2 down. And Alan Shearer has got his second of the match. McAllister. Great ball over the top. Dean's in there. Dean looking for something here. And he's got a penalty. Brian Dean forging his way through the middle. Well, Leeds have got the spot kick and Gary McAllister has the responsibility of hauling Leeds back into this match. McAllister against Bobby Mims. No mistake! Beautiful penalty kick. Right in the top corner, that was unstoppable. He's managed to clear that up the line well. Good ball by Batty. Lovely run by Speed. Speed and Sherwood in a challenge there. Newell will take the quick free kick and he's put Alan Shearer through. What a shot! Oh, what a goal! And Shearer goes wild. And Blackburn Rovers go wild. Leeds fighting now to stay in this match. Speed. Good link up with Wallace there. Dorigo in support. Nice little cross in there. Well, that's not a bad effort. And a great save by Bobby Mims. McAllister with the corner. Oh, there's a goal. Leeds fighting hard to stay back in the match. Newsom hitting a left foot volley. A couple of ricochets, it doesn't matter, it's gone in. 2-3 now. Dean infield for McAllister. And the cross has floated in, and it's gone in. I think that will be an own goal. The Kop don't mind. Gary McAllister won't mind. And certainly Howard Wilkinson won't. 3-3. What a game. McAllister really took this in his stride, didn't he? Whipped back the cross, and it came off one or two Blackburn players and crept in at the far post. Leeds really forcing the pace now. Dean heading it in, and Mims tipping over this time. Beautiful skills by Dorigo. Nice little cross in there, that's gone wide. Terrific game, 6-goal thriller. Leeds 3, Blackburn Rovers 3.
Yeah, it must have been great for the 37,000 fans who were here to watch, you know, but in saying that, you know, we're a bit disappointed losing 3 goals at home. Although there were 3 quality strikes from Alan Shearer, you know, we're a wee bit disappointed we lost 3 at home.
But I think you've got to give credit to Leeds and their players for the way they've come back and they've battled back to take a point from us. Yeah,
we started the game quite well, and then I would agree with you, I think they did score the goals against the run of play. But in saying that, we found ourselves 3-1 down, and a lot of I've got lots of respect for the rest of my teammates, the way we fought back and got ourselves back in the game.
The dust had scarcely settled after that whirlwind of a game when a new storm broke over Ellen Road. David Batty, whose appearance as sub against Blackburn had seemed to fire Leeds' fight back, was to take Jack Walker's shilling and leave his native Leeds for Rovers.
My job here fills every waking hour of the day at the moment anyway. We have experts in other fields, and the people who are experts on the money side said that the sort of money we were getting for David Batty was at that time essential to the well-being, the long-term well-being of this football club. And I listen to what they say, I understand their reasons for saying it, and at the end of the day, I have to go along with better informed opinion than my own as to what is best in a particular area at which I am not, and don't claim to be an expert, for the long-term well-being of the football club.
Farewell then to the homegrown hero. There was to be no immediate natural replacement for Batty, could there ever be. But against Sheffield Wednesday, his absence seemed barely felt.
Leeds will be looking to put the brakes on Waddle. He's managed to impose himself early with a nice ball for Andy Sinton, who's chasing hard. Sinton, is he brought down? Referee gives a free kick. Leeds defending in the first minute here. Mark Bright there in the wall. Chris Waddle and Andy Sinton over the ball. Nigel Worthington, who Howard Wilkinson signed here at Hillsborough, is there as well. But I think it's going to be Waddle who drives one. Oh my word. That is outstanding finishing. And Leeds are behind to one of the most quality strikes you'll ever see. And Leeds sensing opportunities here with Dorigo again, who's had a great start to this match. Another lovely cross and off the bar from Fairclough and on the line, and Pressman claims it fortuitously, drifting it into the near post. Nice flick on. Leeds really pushing hard and putting the pressure on Wednesday now. Wallace with a shot, saved again by Pressman. Now Rocastle bringing it beautifully in field. That's a lovely cross and Fairclough heads in. Leeds are back in it 1-1, and that was a beauty. Stinging header by Fairclough. Lovely cross in by David Rocastle, and that is absolutely inch perfect. And Fairclough meets it full on. That's unstoppable. He's got it back now with a cross into the box, and Ryan Jones is in there. Oh, and Wednesday are 2 up now, 2-1. A break on here for Nigel Jemson. Beanie, safe as houses. Huge clearance by Beanie, and he's sent Wallace clean through. Nielsen's marking, but Wallace has got it back on level terms. Coolest of finishers. And he sends the Leeds fans wild at a packed house at Hillsborough. Big Yorkshire derby. And Leeds, for all their pressure, deserved a goal. And really get it from a freak breakaway. Massive clearance by Beanie. Wallace was the most alert player on the field here. Nielsen lunging in there, and Wallace placing his left foot finish in off the post. Great goal. Good ball by Wallace. Rocastle's away again. He's in fine form this afternoon, David Rocastle. Again, gets in his cross. Oh, it's got through to Speed, who must score, and does! And Leeds are ahead. First time in the game. Leeds 3, Wednesday 2. Beautiful cross by David Rocastle. And terrible defending really from Wednesday. And Speed says thanks very much. There's Walker dribbling for Wednesday. Starts off a nice little move with Nigel Worthington there. Walker into the box, puts in a shot. Mark Bright! Great goal for Wednesday. And it's all level at 3-3. Roland Nielsen clearing it away for Wednesday. Leeds attacking again. And the whistle goes. Wednesday 3, Leeds 3.
The next visitors to Ellen Road were Chelsea, and batty or no batty, Leeds produced the performance of the season.
Challenge here. Wallace has been played through. Oh, blast it wide. Glenn Hoddle nowhere near as Dorigo brings it away down the left. Dorigo, beautiful cross in there. Dean heading it back in. McAllister surely. Oh, great save. Great save by the keeper. Bit of work to do for Kelly there. Oh, and he's not delivered a bad ball at all. Dean's on here. Dean, yes, what a finish. Leeds break the deadlock. And Dean's the man to do it. And he does it in style. Brian Dean bringing Ellen Road alive. Long ball by Kelly, thumped nicely. Dean had the beating of Sinclair, and there was no way back for the Chelsea defender with finishing like that. Right in the top corner. Throw in instead, down the line nicely. Good cross pull back, Dean's in there again. And Dean's got it. Dean with the cross, and that's two. Wallace flinging himself at the ball. What a goal. Credit to Dean, he really worked hard to win that ball back. And when he got it, the cross was beautiful. Tantalising ball in, and Wallace was finishing brilliantly. Rocastle flicks it on. Sinclair passes back to the keeper. They're not looking very convincing here, Chelsea. Leeds really are making them look very silly. They're through again here. Wallace surely now will get his second. Oh, what about that for finishing? Well, he certainly didn't hesitate. And that was just really a class piece of finishing by Rod Wallace. Through on goal with the chance. And really, there's nothing the keeper can do at all. Kelly keeps it in play. Nice ball for Dean. Dean from long range with the confidence to try a shot. Leeds with all the play now. Kelly again. Making another great run. He's gone round Newton. He's pulled back a good cross. The header there. Well saved. Very well saved from Gary Speed. McAllister in for Rocastle. Rocastle's done brilliantly there. What a goal. David Rocastle with an absolute pearler. That's really class. Total quality. He just dances round them, doesn't he? And the finish is beautiful. Now Glenn Hoddle. Hoddle. Lovely little ball that he sneaked through there. And Chelsea, well, they get a consolation. the final whistle. Terrific match, Leeds ripping Chelsea to pieces. And the final score, Leeds 4, Chelsea 1.
Dean's goal had been his fourth of the campaign, but his first at Ellen Road. Obviously a considerable relief to him.
The goal against Chelsea really took a big weight off my shoulders. It was a nice goal to get, and in the end it turned out to be a really good victory for us.
The trip to Spurs on the 20th of November provided United's 10th league game without defeat, but the fourth draw in 5.
Anderton. Oh, he's got it through! Anderton has squeezed it through the defensive wall. Tottenham are level.
At Goodison Park, yet another draw and 1-1 again. The Leeds performance illuminated by Rodney Wallace, who always enjoys playing at Goodison, and proved it with this solo goal. By now, Leeds had become almost an automatic selection on pools coupons throughout the country. And although Tony Cotty's goal marked an X on the coupon yet again, Leeds had to settle for a final score of 1-1. When Swindon came to Ellen Road, another blank day looked on the cards for most of the game. Thankfully, the last 15 minutes changed it all.
Strachan now with a chance. Oh, that's a great ball. Dean scores. At long last, Leeds break the deadlock. Brian Dean again on the score sheet. Strachan with the most delightful of through balls. And Dean with the crunching finish. Leeds breathing a sigh of relief there, but finding Strachan. And Strachan looking for the most precision ball for Wallace. Wallace is through here. Wallace scores 2. Leeds 2. Swindon 0. And Wallace took it in his stride. But the ball from Strachan was just quality shining through. Strachan takes the signal of the crowd, puts it into the box, comes straight back to him. He's there again. Oh, works the magic, speed, finishes. And Leeds score a third goal, and the rout is complete. Swindon battling so hard for so long, taken apart at the death by Leeds, ruthless in their finishing.
Another 3 goals coming up against Manchester City. Dean, Wallace and Speed do the damage.
Strachan to take, chipping it in nicely. Dean's in there, Wallace is in there. Wallace scores. Snapshots inside the box. Caught City cold. Leeds are ahead. With the likes of Strachan serving up treats like that, flicked on by Dean. Again there's danger, and oh, great goal! Gary Speed lifting it into the corner, out of the blue. Oh, good run there, and goal! Lovely finish. Sheeran for Manchester City, blasting it through. Oh, that's not a good header. There's danger, and it's a goal. 2-2. Tony DeRico, straight into the box. Headed in dangerously. City at 6s and 7s here, Leeds sensing a chance. Back in again, it's gone in! It's gone in, and Brian Dean's claiming a touch. Leeds 3-2 up now.
The Premiership was now lining up in a somewhat familiar order. Manchester United leading the field. Leeds had moved into second with that win over Swindon, and now closing the gap. A win at Upton Park was vital to keep up the momentum. Lee Chapman in unfamiliar claret and blue must have been desperate to score, but it was Rod Wallace's name that made it onto the sheet in the dying minutes of the game.
Goal! Wallace finishes brilliantly, and Leeds surely have sealed it.
Carrier Road was the next destination for Leeds on the back of an unbeaten league run of 14 games. But things didn't augur well when Chris Sutton hammered one in off the upright. Rod Wallace was to score for the 5th consecutive game to equalise, but in beastly conditions and with torrential rain beating down, Norwich stole the winner through Nigerian striker Efeni Koku. Arsenal provided the next test at Ellen Road.
Slide across
Across the face of goal, drops for McAllister, lovely little touch. McAllister's got a chance here. Super goal, Gary McAllister. The skipper leads by example with an outstanding goal. Little dink over the defender, and then his instincts took over, and it rattles in off the woodwork. Ian Wright for Arsenal. Dangerous crossing, half-headed away. There's a long-range header and a goal for Arsenal. Back on level terms. Now then in the midfield, Fairclough poking it through for Dean. He's got Strachan outside him. Strachan pushes it wide for Wallace. Gary Kelly's on the overlap. Wallace is brought down. Free kick for Leeds. Limpar reckons he dived, but I think there was certainly contact there. And Leeds will sweep this one in from the right of the area. McAllister will take it. Curling dangerously. Oh, and an own goal, I think. Tony Adams, the Arsenal skipper, got the faintest of deflections to that header, and it's past Seaman. Wicked curling ball by McAllister. And Adams, well, fine finish, but not from his viewpoint. Brian Dean, right-hand side, rides the challenge well. Finds Strachan beautifully. Lovely run by Gordon Strachan. Men in the box here, one of them's Wallace, just wide. Good try. Leeds in full flow now. And Strachan turning the screw. Pulled that ball back well. And that's not far away. Big kick by Seaman, but that's the full-time whistle. Victory for Leeds.
Few could have realised then that David Rocastle's brief appearance in the game would be his last for Leeds United. Rocastle's absence from the side had been the source of much speculation since his signing 15 months before, whilst his obvious skills earned him adulation from the Allen Road fans. But what had convinced the manager that now was the time for Rocastle to go?
Yes, a team has to have a big squad. It has to have competition for places. People have to recognise that they can't play every week. But there's a period of time beyond which it becomes counterproductive for you to stay around. It's bad for you as the player, and it's bad for the football club. And the Manchester City thing offered him a first-team place, and it offered me a different sort of replacement. I looked upon David Rocastle as a one-for-one swap for Gordon Strachan. I looked upon David White as offering me something different, something beyond Gordon Strachan. And David wanted to come to Leeds, David White. David Rocastle had got to the point where he saw no future for himself at Leeds. So, you know, in business they have a saying, you know, it's nice if everybody gets up from the table smiling. And on that occasion, I think if you talk to both players, they both agree that they both got up from the table smiling.
Yeah, it came out of the blue, to be fair. There was obviously a lot of disruption and unrest at Main Road, and I think everybody realised that something was going to have to be done just to change the team around a little bit. They were struggling a little bit for midfield players with one or two injuries, and so it came out of the blue, but it wasn't too much of a surprise. But obviously I thought it was a really good opportunity for myself. I'd been at Main Road for I think this was my 10th season, and you know, I thought it was a very good chance to move on.
Quinn, White, got the shot.
David White was City's own homegrown hero, a lightning-fast striker who'd fought his way up with the Blues from the second division.
Causing a few problems.
Regularly scored double figures at Manchester City. He was part of the ever-increasing breed of footballers who have pace to spare. He would play further up the field than either David Rocastle or Gordon Strachan, possibly get more goals. And I felt that at Manchester City his career had got into a bit of a rut. He'd never been out of the first team. He'd not had the best of seasons, particularly by coincidence, since he'd been picked for England, which didn't turn out very well for him. So I thought, you know, he'd, as it were, pick up the early promise he'd shown as a youngster and come here and do a job for us.
For the team, there was no time to ponder. Another big opponent on the horizon. The reborn Newcastle United were back in the top flight with a vengeance, and St James's Park was acquiring a reputation as a tough place to go to rival that of Ellen Road. But no one was intimidated by the Gallowgate that week before Christmas. Leeds took a deserved lead through a Chris Fairclough goal, only to see it snatched away from them in the last few minutes of the game, a pattern so often to be repeated from now on. Queen's Park Rangers figured in another 1-1 draw. It was Rangers who took the lead through Michael Meeker. Leeds coming back thanks to Steve Hodge repeating his handy knack of coming on to score as a substitute. New Year's Day brought one of the most disappointing games of the season. Much heralded as a clash of the Titans, the game at Old Trafford delivered little in the way of entertainment. Press criticism forgot that Leeds created perhaps the best chance of the afternoon. Unfortunately, the new year continued as it had begun. Yet another draw against Ipswich, rival that at Manchester for dullness, and defeat at Blackburn allowed Rovers to take up the challenge to Manchester United at the top. Shearer, the inevitable goal scorer. Gary Speed got one for Leeds. But Shearer in the very last minute punished Leeds again. Defeat 2 at Villa Park by a single goal. Andy Townsend. United had now gone 6 league games without a win, and being hustled out of the FA Cup in extra time at Ellen Road can have done nothing to raise spirits. And there was more sad if predictable news. The popular Mel Sterland announced his retirement as a result of his long-term injury problems.
Mel's injury in many senses is a tragedy. It's a tragedy for him personally, it's a tragedy for football. It highlights the precarious nature of football as a profession. He came here. I'd had Mel at Sheffield Wednesday for the 6 years I was there. And again, a person who was unpretentious, no airs and graces, no side to him, an immense amount of talent, but always remained the same bloke, generous to a fault, nearly always a smile on his face, took a lot to get him down, a great contributor to the dressing room goodwill. Sometimes you lose a player, and sometimes you lose a person who's a player. And in Mel, we've lost a person who played for us, because he added, again, more to this football club than just his playing ability.
The campaign continued with a home game against the old enemy, Liverpool.
Good solid defending. And that one will go up the line for Leeds, who build up again. Good little ball inside for McAllister there. He's wrestled to the ground, but play goes on here with Wallace. Wallace being forced a little wide. Sterling shot and a good save by Grobbelaar. Did extremely well there, the little man, to get in that shot. Liverpool under the early pressure. Good play by Gary Speed. Outside him is Kelly. Kelly pushes it wide and goes for the goal line. He's brought down. That will get him a free kick. Collision with the linesman there. And this is another good situation for Leeds United. Strachan and McAllister pulling the strings. Strachan runs over it, and McAllister flights it in well. Grobbelaar fisting it away, a chance there and a goal. Leeds ahead, and it's Wetherall the scorer. Didn't he take it well? Just reward for good pressure by United. McAllister's delicate free kick wasn't cleared properly by Grobbelaar. And there's the striker's finish from Weatherall, the central defender. Good presence by McAllister, good shot. Whistle past the post, it was worth a try. Wallace has just fluffed at that one a little bit, but he's won it back brilliantly well. Rod Wallace in a fine run of form at the moment. Good game this afternoon for him. He's gone round the back again, and that must be for Dean. No! Would you believe it? Forward again, Leeds. Away by Wright. And Liverpool is growing in confidence a little bit, but Strachan snuffing that attack out. And this is a good option. White shirts all over the place. McAllister! Oh, and off the bar and not in. Grobbelaar, the luckiest man alive, really. He hit that like a cannonball. It went through the hands of the Liverpool keeper and off the bar. Good flick on by Dean. Speed chases through. Oh, he's helped that on well. And the first time shot is well saved by Grobbelaar. Good goalkeeping. David White making a brilliant entry. Hit it well enough, but great reflexes. McManaman again, the star for Liverpool today, no doubt about that. He's found Barnes, lovely ball with the outside of his boot. Yeah, it's into the area, Lukic saves well. Driven in again as Liverpool go in search of an equaliser. Oh, but Leeds has stolen possession. Could be 3 against 2 here. McAllister, Strachan's coming in support. McAllister, he's going to go on his own, and he scored! And the Leeds captain does the business at Elland Road. 2-0, and that should put the game beyond doubt. His timing was superb. The finish was magical. The run was excellent. He had support in 2 areas, wide left and right, but he stitched up Mark Wright, drove in the shot, bit of a deflection, but in the corner. And there's the final whistle. Great win for Leeds. Leeds 2, Liverpool 0.
The game had seen the second coming of John Lukic.
I, at the end of the day, try and pick the best team for every game, and I thought that Mark Beanie was making more than his fair share of mistakes. That was affecting him, and that was affecting the team again. So I decided to bring John back.
This time, though, there was to be no run of wins to follow the change of keepers. 1-1, yet again the scoreline at Oldham.
And that'll do! Gary McAllister with a free kick right out of the textbook, puts Leeds ahead, and Oldham are already in trouble. Beckford with the header, and this time it's in!
There was a change of score, if not result, when Southampton came to Elland Road, 0-0, and it seemed that United could put the ball anywhere they liked, except in the net. At Bramall Lane, another draw, 2-2. If ever there were a game of 2 halves, this was it. Leeds dominating the first period, only to end the match hanging on for a draw.
Oh, good save, Kelly, and off the bar. Great chance for Rod Wallace. Through ball by Fairclough, he sent Wallace away. Wallace has got so much pace. Oh, he's toyed with Bradshaw. Right to the goal line, back the cross and off the post for the second time in the game. Possibly an opportunity here for Dean. He's done well to get round Gale, he's held it up for Speed. Good run by Speed and a goal. That's spin coming. Finished off well by Gary Speed and created by Brian Dean against his former club. He gets chance from the Leeds following. Lovely play by Dean, good strength. Held up Speed, but the finish was sterling, wasn't it? Great goal. Not a hope for Kelly. 1-0 Leeds. Dean's making a good run into the area again. Wallace driven in a shot there. Dean's there, Speed's there, goal. And Speed celebrates, but I think a flag's up on the far side, and it's been disallowed. Well, as Wallace drove in that shot, I think Brian Dean was the man in an offside position as Gary Speed finished it off. Still 1-0. Good play by Dean. Speed's away. This is beautiful breaking. Speed into the area. They get it clear, but Dean's up there again. Here is Brian Dean with a chance. He scored. Leeds 2-0 ahead, and Brian Dean, of all people, has got a goal against his old club, and he's gone berserk. Well, the Sheffield United defence at 6s and 7s, really, as Speed got the second knockdown, and Dean didn't need asking twice. Look at the celebrations, the relief. There's a chance here for Kamara to chip it back in on the chest of Flo, who shoots and gets a goal back for Sheffield United. Well, Alan Kelly throwing caution to the wind with this free kick. The Blades are staring relegation in the face, really, as we go right into the death. Gale's got a touch, Blake's in there. Gale, oh my word, he's equalised at the death.
Dean's goal against his old club was particularly precious, but it was his first in 9 games and only his 8th of the season, whilst both Speed and Wallace were in double figures.
I think it was his hometown club. I think he had high expectations for himself. I think the town had high expectations, and I think he found it all very difficult to cope with. A different style of play, possibly a different style of training. I think he found it all very difficult to cope with, and I think he found himself, you know, the old syndrome of he had been, if you like, just to try and put the thing in perspective, he'd been a big fish in a small pond, and now he was coming up here where it was a big pond and there were a lot of big fishes in it also. And he's had his own personal battle to survive, which I think he's now winning.
Fortunes improved with the home game against Aston Villa. Perhaps with their minds on the impending Coca-Cola Cup final, Villa became easy prey.
But really, it's all Leeds, and Villa they're just passengers. Dorigo now. Good flick by Speed, there's the chance, and a good save, Bosnich. Throwing a lot of men forward for this. And it's driven in hard, and there's the header by Atkinson, good save. Great save. Gary Speed, lovely through ball, Wallace could be in, Wallace has got round them all and finished brilliantly. What an outstanding goal by Rod Wallace. One out of the top draw. Leeds get a deserved goal. Speed's through ball was sheer class, but the run by Wallace was absolute magic, and the finish clinical. Rod Wallace for Gary Kelly. Strachan now. Wallace again. It's good play by Wallace. Oh, and he's kept it in. And Dean with a stooping header, and it's gone in. Terrific goal by Brian Dean. From the most acute of angles, he squeezes it past Mark Bosnich, and Leeds rest on a 2-0 advantage. Brian Dean, fresh from the confidence of scoring an outstanding goal. McAllister, lovely through ball. Wallace, oh no, off the angle. Great effort. and Leeds just about running riot. And there's the final whistle. Brilliant Leeds performance. It ends Leeds 2, Villa 0.
Coventry City came to Ellen Road perhaps preoccupied with the sole object of containing Rodney Wallace. But they couldn't. Inevitably, the man scored his 5th goal against the Sky Blues in 12 months. There followed a 1-0 defeat at Selhurst Park in highly controversial circumstances. John Fashanu battling away with David Wetherell, the referee saw nothing wrong, and Peter Fear scored the only goal of the game. By now, Leeds were battling it out with Newcastle and Arsenal for a UEFA Cup place, and that Wimbledon defeat had hardly been the best prelude to the meeting with Newcastle at Ellen Road.
Fox, who did so well here for Norwich in August. This is Lee. Newcastle got plenty in the centre. Beardsley missed it. Sellers took it. Cole! 50 up for Andy Cole. It's taken 3 minutes. Mistake by Fox. Dean. Will it go in? Well, the answer is no. The linesman got there and was perfectly placed. And Brian Dean is denied. Wallace, here's Kelly. Wallace will catch this, speed by the near post, it comes for Gordon Strachan, and it flew away and wide, and Leeds at the moment are letting Newcastle off the hook. Strachan, super play from him. McAllister, it's another miss. And Newcastle will be happy for this first half to come to an end with their lead still intact. Kelly to the right. An early cross, a header from Dean, and the clawing hand of Pavel Cernicek. Is that the break that Leeds have been aching for? Strachan sets himself off, hit the post. Kelly. It's a corner. We've stressed the set-piece route. They're running out of time. They have another chance. Fairclough is in there. Newsom, of course. Wetherell has gone off, so it's one less big man to worry about. Cernicek doesn't get there. Fairclough! 1-1. The player who scored against Newcastle at St James's Park has done it again here for Leeds United in the nick of time.
Well, we've talked about it all night, haven't we? I've said second half that Gordon Strachan's delivery hadn't been as good as the first, but that one again is right on the money. And I tell you what, it wasn't easy from then. The first part's done, the flick-on's there, but Fairclough has still got a lot to do. He's got to get up above Peacock, he's got to get his header on target. He does both those things, and Leeds have just reward for persistence. They've kept at it, and they've been rewarded.
Football's the sort of game where you can very easily come to a snap conclusion as to what is and what is not wrong. Very often you find that, you know, it's not just one thing that's wrong. And yes, this season we have drawn a tremendous number of games. I think we're now up to 15. Now, 7 goals in 7 of those games would have given us another 14 points. And many of the games we've drawn, away from home and at home, have been winning draws. You know, we drew at Man City 1-1 and really should have won the game. We drew at Ipswich 1-1. We drew at Newcastle 1-1. We drew down here again to Ipswich 1-1. They were all winning draws. The fact is, I suppose, if you did have to come to one conclusion, one big conclusion as to why we haven't got more points this season, it would be that, you know, we are probably, I think, about 8 or 9 goals short of what I think we are capable of producing. And those 8 or 9 goals, had we got them, they would have had a ripple effect on our goals against, and our goals against, which is quite good, would have gone down even more. So those 7 or 8 or 9 goals I'm talking about, had we got them, would have seen us, you know, as one of the top 3 teams in the Premier League at this stage of the season, instead of being in 5th.
Spirits were restored, however, by a trip to QPR. The scene of heavy defeats in recent seasons, Loftus Road now became a very happy hunting ground indeed. The game marked a welcome return too for Mark Tinkler.
Ray Wilkins chasing that one, but picked up by Wetherell. McAllister helping it on for Gary Speed, right-hand side on the wing. Sliding it down the flank for White. Cuts inside nicely. He's got support there. Good cross in the area. Dean's there. Super goal. Brian Dean. Beautiful glancing diving header in the corner. And Leeds are ahead 1-0. Praise from the skipper, Gary McAllister, for Brian Dean. White worked that well. The cross was whipped in nicely. And Dean got in front of the defender and directed it in the corner. Great header. Dean again in there with the flick on it, drops to a Rangers shirt. Bardsley, the fullback, channels that towards Ferdinand. Ferdinand as well. He's pushed that out of play, and that's not the best contribution you'd expect from the England striker. Tony Dorigo, his England compatriot, with a throw now. McAllister's looking for one short, but he goes down the line. Dean again there with the flick-ons. And that will drop nicely for Speed. Tries to chip it through nicely for Wallace. Wallace has made a great run here. Wallace! Oh, what a goal! Lovely finish by Rod Wallace. Thought he might have just pushed that past the upright, but it snaked in the corner. Leeds 2-0 ahead, and what a start. The most electric finish you could ever expect to see from Rodney Wallace. Took it in his stride, didn't he, beautifully. Lovely turn, then a push past the defender, and the finish is glorious. Dorigo. Now Wallace. Dorigo again. Comes in field. And he's gone for a good ball over the top there. This could be nice. White helps it on for McAllister. Keeping it in play, the Leeds skipper. To his right foot now, plays it in again for Wallace. He's running hard, shoots, and that'll be a comfortable save for Jan Stejskal. Now Ray Wilkins trying to restore some pride for Rangers. Ferdinand has helped that one on well. Rangers have been really restricted by Leeds. Ferdinand again, and another ball going astray, and Gary Kelly can counter-attack for Leeds. Great ball down the line, Dean's onside. Dean's got a chance here to make it 3. He's round the keeper. Oh, and cruelly denied. Dean tried to dribble round them all there, and he was unfortunate to be stopped right on the line. Throw in though for Leeds, who are still going strong. And it'll be taken by Tony Dorigo. Might work this one with Wallace, yes he does. Oh, beautiful skip past his marker, lovely ball for Wallace, this is promising, yes! David White has made it 3, the goal finally comes, and that was a delectable passing movement. Superb play by Leeds, just reward for David White. Dorigo, that was a casual ball in. Wallace dragged it in, and White makes no mistake at all. 3-0. Wallace again. Gary McAllister now, the sun shining down on these players. Speed pushes it through for Dean to chase again. Brian Dean, left-footed wide. He won't be happy with the finish. But again, he created the opportunity. With good running and speed, picked him up well. Wilkins receives the ball from midfield. Oh, and they're in trouble again, Rangers. They just can't seem to live with Leeds at the moment. They managed to get it to Bardsley, attacking full-back. He's tackled by Wallace, but Rangers still in possession. Wilkins again. Got it to the edge of the area. Weak looking cross into the area there. And now Leeds salvaging possession. David White's got a lot of pace in these positions. Prefers the little ball for McAllister. And now he's worked it through for White, who's got a great opportunity. David White, lovely finish. Good strength in the challenge, and then the beautiful side foot past the keeper. His second, Leeds fourth, and this is a most incredible performance here at Loftus Road. David White the man. McAllister again, that's a lovely ball through. And here he shows his strength in the challenge against Bardsley. Shoulders him off and side foots past the keeper. Well, that's full time and a wonderful performance by Leeds in the sunshine. 4 goals to 0. 1 from Dean, 1 from Wallace, and 2 from David White. Well and truly the hero.
No one could have been happier with the result than David White.
So the QPR game I did enjoy because it was a time when we hadn't won away from home for a long time, and to go away, to get back in the team and win so convincingly and score a couple of goals was very pleasing.
Spurs next, and United showed no mercy to the Londoners, surprisingly facing the threat of relegation.
Here's Wallace, he's onside. This could be danger here for Spurs, but the ball is poked wide of the post, and that's the closest thing yet. Speed. Dean is in here for Leeds United, and he's hit the post. And White can't find the net. Wallace, who's pulled out wide. McAllister continues with his run. Here's Dean and Fairclough. Oh, just past the post. McAllister. Now Dean, who's having a good match for Leeds United, takes them all on again. Can he get the angle right this time? Great save from Torsved. He just got enough on it. Here's Speed. Now Sharp. Good looking ball, it's been missed here. Dean's attacking it, and somehow the chance goes begging. Austin played up long towards Sheringham. Never gets to him because Weatherall was there. Now here's Rodney Wallace. Oh, that's good work from Wallace. Terrific little solo run from him. Still Rodney Wallace. This would be some goal. It is as well from Rodney Wallace. What about that? That is going to be one which will be in the scrapbooks for all time for Rodney Wallace.
Well, the finish is quite magnificent. But if I was on the Spurs bench, I'd have an inquest into that moment there when he walks past 3 Spurs players. But from there on, this was sheer magic. It's a magical finish. One to admire. But I tell you what, he should never have been given the opportunity to get in there, Ian. But he bends it beautifully at the end. But he just walked past 3 Spurs players on this left touchline when he shouldn't have been anywhere near it.
Well, you're going to see that goal, I'm sure, a few times again before the season is out. He collected it in his own half. How many men did he beat on the way? And the terrific finish from Rodney Wallace. It's his 4th goal in the last 6 games and his 14th of the season. Back here to Weatherall this time. And onside McAllister. Wallace is in the middle, waiting for the cross. There it is. And Scott with the interception. And back into the net. He's done it this time, Rodney Wallace. 2 for him, 2 for Leeds, and surely the end for Spurs.
At Stamford Bridge, the frustrating pattern of taking the lead only to let in an undeserved equaliser reasserted itself. Gary Speed's 36th minute goal cancelled out in the second half.
Rod Wallace, things opening up here for Leeds. Good cross in the box, Speed's unmarked and scores. He was left completely free in the box. And you don't give that sort of time and space to a player of the quality of Gary Speed. Good play by Wallace, delivered the centre, and there's Speed turning it in well. 1-0. Dimitri Karin, the Chelsea keeper. Huge clearance upfield, good flick on, and Spencer could be in here. Oh, that's a fine finish with his left foot, and Chelsea are back on level terms.
The visit of Manchester United again brought disappointment. The 2-0 defeat effectively ended Leeds' chances of a European place, already hanging by a thread. Andrei Kanchelskis scored the first United goal. And then a masterpiece from Ryan Giggs. It certainly wasn't the happiest of nights for Gary Kelly, but the disappointment is as much as anything a measure of the standards he's set for himself in a season of matchless achievement.
You know, I'm now past my 50th birthday. This is a hard job, I'm not complaining, but sometimes you do get a bit tired. Sometimes you even get a little bit cynical about it all. And in the long term, it's people who lift you. And Gary Kelly is one of those people who this season have given me a lift. He's a youngster. He's a youngster who wasn't doing well. He's a youngster who accepted my word almost totally at the start of this season. He put his faith in me, and it's worked. He's fresh. He's enthusiastic. He doesn't look beyond tomorrow. He plays football for the sheer joy of playing it. He's not missed a game at any level this season. He's got himself into contention for a place in America in the summer. And he's done all that at the moment without it seeming to affect his personality and his outlook in any way. He's retained his modesty, he's retained his politeness. It's not all been easy for him. There was a time, 15, 18, in fact 2 seasons ago, I remember having to spend 2 or 3 weeks talking to him and talking to his parents about persuading him to stay. He wanted to go home. I had to talk to him about his responsibility to them and to not letting them down and the value at sticking at things, not giving up when things get difficult. And he's come through all that and proved himself to be a success at the start. So like I said right at the very beginning, and he's done all that without it seeming to change him. And it's nice in this business because so often in this business people do change, and they don't change for the better, and their attitude to football changes and their attitude to life changes. So, you know, like our weather, it can rain for 3/4 of the year, but it's amazing what a little bit of sunshine does for us all.
It feels very good at the moment, Ari. I came back from pre-season there last year, and the boss says I'd like to try it at right back. So he tried us there over the pre-season, and then we went to Ireland, a trip in Ireland, and he played us there. And just ever since, he's just kept patience with me and kept me there.
So you're glad to have made the conversion?
Yeah, I'm delighted to make the conversion right back down to the defence and that, you know. I wouldn't like to change back now because I think if you don't play, if you miss out in a game, it's one you're not gaining on, you know. So I'd just like to keep playing at the back.
Has it been tiring being an ever-present in a season that looks like 50 games long?
Sometimes you feel tired, but you know, I'm only young, so I think I can go on and it'll be all right for the rest of the season and that. But it has been a tough season with a lot of games and that, you know. So we have a few left. Just hope that we can just keep up the good work, you know.
And of course, the season doesn't end for you in May. It goes on a little further, doesn't it?
Well, it all depends now. In 2 weeks' time, Jack will be picking the squad now for America. So fingers crossed to be involved with him, because he's a lot of good players there to be picked from. So you don't want to get your hopes up to be disappointed, you know.
Absolutely. It's a tremendous responsibility at just 19.
That's right, 19. Really a dream come true. But a lot of people say, "What do you think?" And it hasn't really hit me yet at the moment, you know. But I'm really enjoying it. I just take one day at a time and see how it goes.
Everton came to Ellen Road in danger of the drop, and their peril increased as United, now with little to play for but pride, performed as if their lives depended on it.
Fine save by Lukic. Stewart was chasing through the middle there. Everton desperate to make an impression in this game. McAllister's free on the right here now for Leeds. Wallace screaming for that ball in the area, shot there just wide. And that wasn't a bad try. Stooping effort with his right peg. Strachan. And Strachan's got away from his marker there. This is a good run by the Leeds maestro. David White links up now. White with the cross. Wallace off the base of the upright. Unlucky. Brilliant foraging run by Strachan. A good centre by White, and the header so close. That's a pinpoint cross. And look at that. Beats Southall, all ends up. Another Leeds attack here. Fairclough, good through ball. White's on the rampage again. He's into the area. David White tackled there just at the final moment, but McAllister, that'll do. Leeds ahead. It's been on the cards, and when it comes, it's always a little bit special with Gary McAllister. Great goal. White did a lot of hard work. He was unfortunate, but he just managed to get that all-important prod out for McAllister, who finished beautifully. Oh, lovely touch by McAllister. Wallace switches play beautifully well. White again. In the middle of a great game. That's a cross and an own goal. And Everton are looking sorry. White is performing superbly. Drove that one in. Wicked ball, and that's a terrible own goal. White again, the provider, with a corner. Looks for a short one. Wallace is in space. McAllister! Oh! Off the angle. And Everton scramble it clear. Good play by Sharp. Super interception. Strachan's outside him to the left. There are men running through the middle. Sharp might go all the way on his own here. But no, Wallace gets a chance now. Wallace just over. And Leeds playing at their own free will now. Strachan, good turn. Lovely ball in field for White. Looks for the curler. Oh yes! Super goal by David White. That's an outstanding piece of finishing. Well, he showed his power in this game on that right-hand side. And now he shows his finesse from 20 yards, got on it right foot, and then just look at that for a curler, right in the corner. That's full-time, 3-0 Leeds.
With the season effectively over, time to look to the future.
One way or the other, I've got to be looking to do just that. I've got to be looking to add to our ability to score goals. I've got to be looking to add to our ability to stop them going in. One will affect the other. One will affect the other. But I know now that between now and the start of next season, hopefully well before the start of next season, but you never can tell in football. And it's wrong to buy players who are second choice if you think by waiting you'll get first choice. But I know now in my own head, and having talked to the chairman, that between now and the start of next season, I've got to be thinking in terms of bringing in, certainly I think, 2 players who will go into the first team and will improve the first team, without a shadow of a doubt. Now, whether that comes about, who knows? But at this stage of the season, as I'm talking to yourself, that is my intention.
Although there was one more game to play, for many the season and so much else came to an end on the 3rd of May. The last home game, the last time the Ellen Road Cop would resound to marching on together and the pounding feet of Sergeant Wilco's balmy army. There was a carnival atmosphere. Wednesday's trumpet and drum recalled it to knockout, an impression which Leeds' inept performance in the first 70 minutes reinforced. Chris Bart-Williams put away Wednesday's first. At the interval, the mini-marathon. Zico putting away one more for the Kop, or not. Then Wilkinson played the joker, putting on David White for the second half. But it didn't stop Watson putting Wednesday's second into the net. It looked like an unhappy ending until White's 70th minute strike transformed the game. Suddenly, it was no more jeu sans frontier. It was a football match and Leeds were out to win.
The comeback well and truly on now. Kelly, long raking ball. Wednesday can't clear it. So much pride at stake in these big Yorkshire derbies. And Leeds are on the march and the crowd are well and truly behind them. Kelly screaming for that ball to be returned from the stand. Drops this throw in long for McAllister. Into the area again. Dean helps it on. Wallace is there. Wallace, yes! 2-2. And that's the equaliser. Powerhouse performance. 2-2.
No one who was there will forget the emotional farewells exchanged between Kopites and players.
You'll never get the same atmosphere when everybody's sat down. I don't think tears, no, but you know, I still think it's sad, you know. The atmosphere, it's like a family. Everybody in there is just great. It is. It's just great. Can't explain it. It's just so much atmosphere.
But we have seen some brilliant matches, seen some good football.
Oh yes, yes, we'll carry on coming, yeah. Yes, I enjoy my football. I don't think it'll be exactly the same, no, but it's still the Kop, it's still the same fans, still the same atmosphere.
Within hours, the bulldozers were in and the Ellen Road Kop passed into memory. 4 days later, with a 5-goal finale at Swindon Town, the season followed it.
Wallace is chasing this one on the left, whips it back in, Dean's there, 1-0. Leeds ahead, great purpose about them. Kelly again, been delivering good crosses this afternoon, another one there, and White's volley creeps in. 2-0. David White. Dean, away on the left, good ball in, and that's going to be 3 for Wallace. Finished it off comprehensively. What a fine run here. And that's going to be a chance. Yes, he's managed to pull it back. Dean cracks it in. What a goal. Just look at the finish there. Kelly again, right-hand side. Another great run in the middle. There's Fairclough, number 5. What a scorcher.